When you create a new website, one of the first things you want to do is go ahead and create a folder that will hold all of the files that you're going to need for that website. I know this is basic stuff, but I want to make sure we cover this. So I've created a Malt Shop folder right here, and right now we're basically working in one folder. So right now we're looking at all of our files to be located inside of that folder. However, going forward, that's going to change. So let's talk about that just a little bit so you don't get confused when we go forward. Right now, everything, our HTML pages, our images, our CSS pages, and files, and are all located in the same folder. And that means the links will be relative to that, and we're going to need to make sure we understand how the organization of the website is prior to setting up links within a web page. So right now I'm going to come back out again. So this is the local folder, our local website folder, and this is the name. Notice I've used all lowercase. This is the best way to go with this because and most of the time when you work in professional manner, you might even have a website folder that's got a name that doesn't even make sense to when you read it. It'll make sense to the people working on the project because it might have something like M126. It'll be something that'll make sense to you, but it will not make sense to the average person because you don't need this folder to have a friendly name. It just needs to be something that's easy to work with. I do suggest you keep the name fairly short because it'll make it easier for you to work with. Okay, so inside of your folder we will be creating other folders to help organize the structure. So right now I'm just going to add a new page in here. I'm just going to go in here and go HTML. Okay, so I fixed this. Is going to be our home page. So we've got a file in here, this index. Generally speaking, our home page is going to be named index, and look, I also kept that lowercase. The name of the file itself does not have to be capitalized. It's not going to be something that the user is going to need to know anything about. Only you as the programmer will know what that file name is. The title is what they're going to see, and that'll be up on the tab for the web page. Okay, inside of here we might have also a folder that's going to hold our CSS pages. Generally, I'll use CSS. You don't have to name it CSS. You can name it something like styles. CSS files will be located inside of that. So for now, I'm just going to rename this to CSS so we know what we're talking about. So there's a folder to hold all of those CSS files. And when I say all of those, it's because most websites have multiple style sheets attached, and the reason they use external style sheets versus inline styles is because it means that they can have a consistent look throughout their entire website. So if they have, let's say, 25 pages on their website, you can link that same style to all those 25 pages on your website, and they will all have a similar appearance for the user. That's very helpful for the user because they will know where they're located. Okay, now the other thing you may have on there, you may have a folder that's going to hold your images. Generally, I just call mine images. Like I said, you don't have to call it images. You can call it, sometimes I even call it just short for images. But I'll put all of my images inside of that, and then I can keep them. Like I said, larger websites will have many images. You may have hundreds of images. You want to organize it so you can find what you need. Okay, the other thing you may have in your website as a website folder is you may have a scripts. Okay, that's going to be like your JavaScript. We're going to get into that later on, but we're going to have JavaScript, which will give us some animation with our website. But this is a basic structure for a website. You want to have your web pages out in the main website local folder. So in this case it's called Malt Shop. Okay, inside of Malt Shop you're going to have your home page and your other pages that you're going to have for that website. Generally speaking, your home page is going to be named Index. You're going to have other folders that are going to hold the other types of files that you have on your in your website, and you're going to store them based on the file type. So when we're working on websites, we want to make sure that we have everything that's set up, such as a navigation. We're going to view the page source. So all I'm doing is I'm going to right click on the page, choose view page source. This is one of the first things I do when I check to make sure a page is working correctly. Usually if you have an error in here, you'll see something in here that looks a little off. Now, like for example, it may appear red, the text may appear red. That'll give you some hint as to what's going on. That's usually the first place I look. There we go. Alright, this is a basic web page that I've got set up here, and I'm going to go view the source. Okay, so this is some basic content that's set up on this page. You'll see the only thing that's going to appear outside of the HTML tags is going to be the document type. Then you're going to see the opening of your HTML element, and then down at the very bottom, the last thing you're going to see is closing of the HTML element. One of the things you want to always check if you're having a problem with your website and things are not working right is to make sure that you're viewing your content on a regular basis inside of a browser so that you can see what's working and when it stops working. When it stops looking like you think it's supposed to look, go then and work on it and fix what you think is not right. For example, if I looked at this and I said, oh, well, I don't see anything on here. I'm wondering if I put anything on the title because the tab is not showing me the title of the page. So I could come over here and I didn't put anything. I don't have anything listed in the title. So you've got the head. Head is always going to be up at the top of the HTML document. You're going to have the opening for the head, and then you're going to have the closing for the head. Some of the things you're going to see inside of the head is going to be the metadata, the title. You're going to see links to this CSS style sheets. You're going to see links to JavaScript and other content like that. This is going to be something you're not going to see show up on the page itself, but it's very important on how the page is going to be displayed for the user and how the page can be accessed on the internet. The place where you're going to start to see content show up on your page is going to be between the opening and closing body tags. Okay, this is your body element opening and closing. Inside of here is where you're going to see the content that's going to be visible for the user. This is an image element, so you'll be able to set up and link an image to show up on the page. You don't actually insert an image in the page, you actually are linking it. So because of that, you need to know the file name for the image, and because you want to set up your page to be accessible for everybody, you want to put some information in text under the alt comments so that you can, even if the image doesn't show, or if for those who need to use a reader because they can't see the page, they'll be able to read and see what that image is supposed to be. Other content may be available under the body, such as the you may have some navigation headings. You may have the footer element may be in there, but all those things are going to be visible to the user, and they're going to fall between the opening and closing tags for the body element. One, start off, save your work regularly. Make sure that you're not losing your work because you didn't save it. Make sure you are checking in a browser on a regular basis to make sure things are showing up like they're supposed to. Okay, I'll see you later. Thank you.